So take my word for it. Learn from this. I guarantee you'll feel better about it. Just listen to me this time around.
Anthony, based on your experience as a personal trainer, what is it that separates people that succeed with people that people that struggle or potentially fall off the wagon in terms of the training they're doing?
With the nutrition and the training and yeah, that's a great question, Dave. Again, thanks for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate being here. I love the space that we create. I love the content that we put together for the people. And thanks everyone for tuning in. I could say, because I've been doing this for 20 plus years now, Dave, and I could see I give the information to client A and I give the information to client B, and it's the same information. One succeeds and one fails miserably. And the question is why? What's going on there? And I break it down to the lack of, to some degree, personal development. We call it self-development, personal development, mindset, whichever the way you want to look at it. Personal development is a very important area in my life. And I'm going to take you on a history, take you back into time so we can sort of set the pathway here. My father passed away at the age of 58 with diabetes and cancer. Now, I was in my mid-20s at the time, and I'm going to take you back because this is so important, because in life, we get given experiences. From the good, we should learn what to do and repeat, and from the bad, we should learn what not to do and not repeat. But we struggle with the other side. We tend to repeat the same mistakes, and we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so I'll take you back to 2004. I'm sitting down with my father. We're watching some game show at 5 p.m. You know, we're sitting down in front of the couch, and then all of a sudden, Dave, he loses his sight. Just can't see. Like, he cannot see, right? And it's the first time it's ever happened. And I mean, this man couldn't see. It wasn't like it was blurred vision. It was just, this man could not see anything. And the terror in his eyes, he's asking where I was. As I'm right here. He goes, Anthony, I really can't see. It's just pitch dark. And that was the clearly diabetic retinopathy taking over. And that went on for a few minutes, and he didn't know what to do. Could you just imagine, everyone listening right now, could you imagine if 1 minute you're seeing and the next minute you're not seeing? Just imagine the terror, the experience of something like that, not knowing what's happening to you and when is it going to come back, if it's going to come back, my sight. Is this it for me? Am I going to be blind forever? Is this the last time I get to see a sunset? My family? My dog? Is this it for me? And his sight came back after about 5 minutes. But that was the beginning of the end for my father. With diabetes, he had type 2 diabetes. They say that when you do get diabetes type 2, all-cause mortality goes up by 40%, meaning heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, all of these, they go up by 40%. And so clearly my father passed away with the music still inside him at the age of 58. And it was a wake-up call for me, because I'm there in the hospital at the day that my mother called me up. I was at work, and she rang up. She says, Anthony, you better come to the hospital because your father's not breathing the way he was breathing anymore. His breathing is very, very shallow. And I went to the hospital, and then his breathing was very shallow. It was like, I was there. My sister was there. I think my brother was not there at the time. And then I don't know what came over me, but I just said something like, Dad, listen, I want you to know that You've been the best father any son, any mother, any daughter can ever want. I want you to know, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. And I think you're ready to go now to see your mother and your father. And the moment I said that, Dave, I don't know what happened, but he just took his last breath. That was it. Okay. And, if you've ever seen a loved one pass away, and once the rigor mortis starts to set in, once whatever that, if you believe in a spirit or something, the essence is what I like to use the term. The essence of what made my father who he was no longer there, because he was not that man anymore. It started changing so fast. I just did not identify with what I was seeing. 42 kilograms in weight. My father was my hero, and for 1 minute to be here, the next minute he's not. And then that consciousness, the energy, the whatever we call that, spirit, soul, whatever you want to use, that went. And I knew that my father had gone. Now, I use this example because in life, especially in the carnivore space here, when it comes to being healthy, we make decisions out of desperation or inspiration. Some say we make decisions out of stagnation. Okay. Any other Asian there is, my grade 6 school teacher called it a sausage word. Anything with an T-I-O-N at the end was a sausage word because it was like a long word. So any desperation, inspiration, stagnation, whatever Asian there is, we make decisions out of that. And especially in the carnivore, I notice mainly that people make decisions out of desperation. Many do out of inspiration, but mostly out of desperation. That is, when things hurt so much that you have to make change in your life. Okay, your story is a perfect example of that. What I find with my clients over the years is the ones that have long-lasting change, the ones who have ready to bury their old habits and say goodbye, are the ones who have a very strong reason why to do something. Okay, so when the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. When the reasons why you want to do something, for you, for example, Dave, when you wanted to get onto this transformational journey, you had a very strong reason why you wanted to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was running away from things. I was running away from potentially having full-blown diabetes and alcoholism.
Yeah. So you chose the pain, the pain of stagnation was far more painful than the pain of sacrifice, the pain of changing. Yeah. So a lot of people, they're still negotiating the price of their freedom. They're still questioning, should I really make change? I don't know, man. The very thing that's causing you self-sabotage, you're negotiating that. Why would you negotiate the thing that actually brings you so much pain in your life? Telling somebody to quit sugar, it's like you're asking them to donate a lung. Getting them to change their eating habits. It's unbelievable. People are negotiating this. So you have to have a strong reason why. Is one of the reasons I notice my clients who do make it to the other side and they do become successful, and the ones that don't are the ones that continue to stab at it with a stick, and they go around in circles. And we'll speak about that circle in a second, that vicious cycle of create, destroy, create, destroy. But I find in life is the grand teacher of experience. Life experience is the grand teacher. And we can learn from the experiences of others, as I did learn with my father. My father taught me a lot of things of what to do as a man, but he also taught me what not to do. And life is the grand teacher. Through experience, we can learn from the experiences of other people, and we can learn from our own experiences. The problem is when we learn from our own experiences is we don't really learn or remember. Now, the word remember is a very important word, because remember, if a body was dismembered, the parts are everywhere, okay? So if you remember a body, what are you doing? You're putting the pieces back together again. And that's the importance about experience, is you've got to remember what food does to you. We have this thing called, I like to call, nutritional amnesia. We completely forget how a food made us feel. And then we go around, we have that food because we're so fixated on how it's going to feel good in the moment. And then we make a mistake eating it, feel bad for doing so, then pick up the pieces over the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 days, and then completely forget next time that food comes around of how it made us feel last time. Okay, we're so fixated on what feels good in the moment. Now, inside that nutritional amnesia, I like to look at 2 types of awareness. We've got contracted awareness and expanded awareness when it comes to food. Contracted awareness is like you're in a dark room and you've got a matchstick and you've lit it up and it only illuminates a small section, so you keep bumping into things. You've got what's called contracted awareness. You don't know exactly what that food is, or you do know, but you've forgotten. You do know, or you haven't taken the full package deal as to what that food's doing. Because when we're making decisions on food, especially food we're not supposed to eat, we're only fixated on how it's going to make us feel in the moment, how it's going to touch the sides, how it's going to take us to that happy place, and how it's going to be all fuzzy and nice in the moment. That's where it ends with food. Nobody who's ever had something sugary ever says, well, this is going to contribute to Alzheimer's disease. This is going to contribute to cancer. This is going to contribute to diabetic retinopathy. This is going to contribute to osteoarthritis. No one thinks about that. We're only focused on what feels good in the moment. That's called contracted awareness when it comes to nutrition. Expanded awareness when it comes to nutrition is when you have a kerosene torch and it lights up the entire room, and you know very well what that food is going to do to you. In fact, you know it so well, Dave, that you see through the smoke and mirrors. You see it for what it really is. You see it and say, listen, I know exactly who you are. I know exactly what you're all about. I remember exactly what you did to me last time. I remember exactly how you made me feel all these years. I remember exactly how much of my health you have robbed from me. So I'm going to say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. This kind of goes back to the why part that you're talking about earlier. Like when you're in desperation, like there's that negative feeling, right? You're running away from something. And then it's kind of the same with food. If you can keep that feeling like I need to run away from this thing because I know what it's going to do to me, then you're more likely to be able to stick to the plan, right?
Yes. Again, when the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. Animals are very good, by the way, at remembering experiences and never reliving them, going down that path. If you have a dog that gets its neck caught into a fence, mark my words, that dog is not going near that fence ever again. They learn their lesson once and for all. Humans, on the other hand, we take our time. And we think we have not a lot of time, and that's an illusion. We don't, well, time's an illusion, but we think we have a lot of time. And we really don't have that much time. If you think about it, I'll give you an example. If you have to get up in the morning to go to work and you give yourself 1 hour buffer between the time you wake up and the time you have to get yourself to work, 1 hour, but you delay it a few minutes and you stay in bed a few more minutes and you do that for 10 minutes, 1 minute more is 1 minute less you've got. Okay. And it's the same thing with life. 1 year more is 1 year less. Every year that you delay it is 1 less year you get to ever experience it. In the sense that Somebody wants to lose 20 kilos. They've been trying to lose 20 kilos the last 10 years. And they go back to the same philosophy, the same mindset, the same strategy that one day I'm going to lose 20 kilos. Well, every year that you delay it is one less year you get to experience what it feels like to be 20 kilograms lighter.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. I've done this so many times in my life. Oh, it's all right. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. I'll start next month. And it never happens.
Well, I'll tell you why it never happens. And this is for the people who say, I'll start from Monday. Okay. The word become is a compounding of two words. It's the arrival of the being, the coming of the being. So it's the arrival of the being is who I be in every moment of now. I eventually become that. You are creating future versions of yourself in every moment of now. So if you be the person in the moment of now who says, I'll start from Monday, you are creating future versions of yourself who says, I'll start from Monday. That's what's going on in the moment, because your future version is being created momentarily. You're creating future versions of you right now. So when you say, I'll start from Monday, in that moment, you are creating that future version of yourself. Monday comes around and you don't start on Monday because you said, I'll start from Monday, which means the next Monday and the next Monday. But if you change it around and said, there is no other time but right now, I start right this minute, right now. Monday doesn't exist. 1st of January doesn't exist. It is right here, right now. When you start living in that if it's going to be, it's up to me, I'm going to do it right here, right now, you are in essence creating that future version of yourself who gets things done now.
That's really, really powerful, because this problem happens in so many areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen it in business when someone said, I hate my job. It's got 6 more months and that's it. I'm leaving. And it's like, you're never going to leave. You know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
life doesn't give you what you need. Life gives you what you deserve. And for those who understand the law of attraction doesn't give you what you want. The law of attraction gives you what you resonate. It gives you who you are. If you're announcing one thing, but then doing something in complete polar opposite to that, not only doing, but resonating that, you're not going to attract that. You attract what you resonate. It's a resonance-based universe. Okay, there's a quote by Einstein. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the vibrational frequency of the frequency you wish to attract, and you can't help but get that reality. This is no philosophy. This is physics, or something like that, he said. So the people that don't get the job done are the ones who continue to repeat the same errors in judgment. And an error in judgment, by the way, is what we classify as failure. That's the definition of failure. It's an error in judgment. Example, should have gone the ribeye, should have cooked the ribeye, chose to jump on Uber Eats and order some takeaway. Okay, you're at a T-section. You should have gone one way, you chose the other way. We call that an error in judgment. That's failure. Now, if failure is considered as an error in judgment, my question to the audience is, why would we continue to make errors in judgment every single day for 6 years? Why do we do that? Answer, because
Comfort.
disaster. What's that?
Comfort.
Comfort, habit. We've got time. It's okay. I'll tell you why. The main reason, because disaster doesn't fall on you at the end of the first day. That's why we do it. If every, go on.
Disaster is delayed.
Disaster is delayed. No news means good news. But just because disaster doesn't fall on you at the end of the first day does not mean disaster is not pending, does not mean disaster is not going to happen. So because no news means good news, I think I'm doing all right. Guy says I've been eating takeaway for the last 8 weeks. I feel fine. Well, you've got to be smarter than that. That's the reason why we made those grade 3 desks so small, is that you couldn't fit into them as an adult. You have to sort of get out of 3rd grade. You got to grow up, basically, right? So failure, a few errors in judgment repeated every day. Should have gone the ribeye, chose the takeaway Uber Eats, or should have chose a chocolate bar or something of that nature. Now, if that's failure, then what's success? Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That's success. Now, I want to show you, I want to draw something up and show the audience this, right? Okay. So 1 year. See if you guys can see this. Okay. So there's Dave, little stick man right there. Okay, here, this side. And here represents 1 year. So in a year from now, hopefully, God willing, Dave will arrive somewhere. The question is where? Where will Dave arrive in a year from now? Now, this thing that goes on the way up and on the way down, that represents success, and this failure. In the beginning, they all start, both success and failure start at the same starting blocks. Okay? But over a period of 1 year, one takes an upward trend and the other one goes a downward trend. So this is, where are we? This is the ribeye, and this is the Uber Eats or the chocolate bar, right? Both start the same. Now, whether you choose to go the ribeye or whether you choose to go the chocolate bar, the Uber Eats or whatever, in the moment, one doesn't give you instant health and the other one doesn't give you instant diabetes. Not in the moment.
Right.
Okay, in the moment, it's not going to happen. In the moment, it's not going to give you the heart attack. In the moment, it's not going to give you the 6-pack.
Right.
But the accumulation of moments is what makes the difference. Over 1 year, the continuous errors in judgment eventually take you on one part of life, and the continuous daily disciplines take you on another part of life.
Right.
So it's not whether you chose one or the other that matters, Dave. You know what matters? What matters is the philosophy that you have adopted as to why you chose one over the other.
Right.
That's what matters in the moment. Let's run through some philosophies. Why would somebody choose the Uber Eats over the ribeye?
It's easier. Pick up the phone, order your takeaway.
Yeah.
Job's done.
Job done. It's easier. I don't want to cook tonight. I'm sick and tired of eating ribeye. I miss this food. Hey, I'm not that bad. My friend Sally can't fit in the airplane chair. Like whatever story you tell yourself, whatever you tell your brain will say, that's a good reason. That's justifiable. And so it's not whether you chose one or the other. It's what philosophy you continue to go back down, that path you go back down. It's the same philosophy time and time again that you continue to revisit, and that's what causes you to go one over the other. Now, a wise person does not get conned or falls. A wise person doesn't fall for the trap of what feels good in the moment. They don't fall for that trap. A wise person says, how are my errors in my present judgment costing me 18 months from now? Not in the moment. In the moment, the clouds are fleecy, the birds are singing, the sun's out, it's Friday, the footy's on, everything's fine. Every reason why we should have this meal right now. That's using the limbic system, right here, right now, not the prefrontal cortex that allows you to see things with the logic.
And my experience, you know when you're making these bad decisions, like when you're just, it feels good now, I'm going to do it. You kind of know that it's wrong, but you're able to push that thought away somehow.
Yeah,
That's my experience anyway.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for a second. We're not really honoring that internal guidance system that we're getting somehow. If what we're about to do was not serving us and we do it anyway, then why do we feel bad after we've done it?
Just speaking personally, I think it's an acknowledgement that oh no, that little voice that was telling me not to do it was right. I
Yeah.
do feel bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to run you through my story when I quit sugar, because it's an important story and people need to know about it. Now, my grandmother died from diabetes. My father died from diabetes. Guess what? I was next, Dave. I was next. I remember the first time I tasted sugar. I actually remember my mother, and I love my mother to bits. She would come home she worked in insurance back when I was living in Cyprus, and I was 2 or 3, and she'd come home at night and she'd put her handbag on the kitchen bench. Sorry for my American viewers, you guys say countertop. We say kitchen bench. And I'd hear the keys. And if I heard the keys, it was like Pavlov's dog. Because every time I'd hear keys, she'd come home with chocolate. Every day. So I'd hear the keys, come home. I'm scavenging around inside her bag looking for chocolate. And sure enough, I found a bounty. I found a picnic. I found something. Every time she'd have something. So I for as long as I can remember, I was a sugarholic, sugar addict. And it got to a point that in my teens, and when I was going out clubbing, I'd come home. On the way home, I'd pop into a servo petrol station, grab a couple of bars, drive home 3, 4 in the morning. I had to have a chocolate bar. Every day of the week, I'd have a chocolate bar. There was never a day I did not have chocolate. It got to a point that I could not finish a meal unless I had something sweet. So sweetness for me has played a massive part of my life for up until the last 2 years. And John Maxwell, who's got the 4 seasons of change, he said, the first season of change is when it hurts so much that you have to change. And a lot of people in the carnivore space, including yourself, including me, made change because of that first season of change. It hurt so much, I had to make change. Here's what happened. I got into the habit of this Ben and Jerry's at nighttime. I used to have half a tub, liar, full tub. Okay, 3, 4 nights a week, I'm having a full tub of Ben and Jerry's. And here's my philosophy, Dave. I'll burn it off. I'm a PT. I'll work it off tomorrow. I'm in shape. My abs are still out. I'm not fat. That's the other one, by the way. Just because you're fit, just because your abs are out, does not mean you're metabolically healthy, by the way. Does not mean you're not inflamed, by the way. But that was my philosophy. I'm fit. I'm a PT. I know what to do. I created the Lean 7, man. Come on. I didn't realize I had an addiction. No one wants to know they're addicted. Nobody wants to know that they're addicted to something. You know you're addicted when you try to stop. Okay? So one morning, actually it was, I'll tell you what date it was. 5th of June, 2023. Actually, it was the 6th of June because I had it on the 5th of June that night. 5th of June, 2023. The 6th of June, I woke up in the morning and I had blurred vision. Dave, I had blurred vision, my friend. First time it happened, glassy vision. Every time I'd be having, and then I didn't know But I noticed that it was worse because I used to have blurred vision on other days, but then that one was the worst one. That was on the day, on the 6th of June. Yeah. I woke up that day when I could finally see myself in the mirror, because it was blurred vision. I had a cold shower. I had cold showers every morning. I looked straight into the barrel of my eyes, man, and I said, today's the day you're never touching sugar ever again. No food is worth losing any part of your health, including your delicate eyesight. No food, nothing. There is nothing on this planet that is worth the taste for me to lose any part of my health. Okay, Dave, that was the last time I ever touched sugar. Okay, now Kerry Mann has a great line. He says, you can't see the fog when you're in the fog. This is really important, you guys understand this. When you're in the fog, you can't see the fog. When you make statements such as, surely once a week is okay. Surely I can have it in moderation. Come on, are you going to do this for the rest of your life? You're never going to have sugar ever again? Like, buddy, listen, if you're making statements like that, you're still in the fog. Nobody who's ever quit sugar for a long period of time ever says that. Now, when I just said, I want to do 30 days with no sugar. Just do 30 days. And in that month, I'll tell you right now, in that 1 month, I was going through, metaphorically, I was checking into rehab every day. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to quit, Dave. The hardest thing I've ever had. And there's no drug. I think I've already said this before, but I have a friend of mine who's a hypnotherapist. He can get people off cigarettes, drugs, and whatever. He cannot do sugar. He says to me, Anthony, I cannot do sugar. It's that difficult for people. And so for the first month, I was in denial. I was basically saying, come on. I'm Greek, by the way, so baklava, galaktoboreko, ekmek, bougatsa. Never get to eat any of these Greek desserts ever again. You're having a laugh, man. You're having a laugh. Of course you're going to have it at one point. Okay, I was in the fog. Inside the 30 days, I'm in the fog. After the 30 days had gone past, I started getting some different symptoms. I was clearing up, inflammations going down. My skin's always been pretty good, but my skin was even better. But here's what happened when it came to sugar, Dave. Here's how you know it no longer has its hold on you. Through sight, when you see it and you don't respond viscerally in any way. So you see it and you don't respond. You smell it and you don't respond. Or someone speaks about it and you hear someone's mentioning your favorite food and you just don't have any reaction to it. In fact, now that I look at it, I actually see it as dog food. It's really fascinating. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I kind of, I've got no emotional attachment at all when I see it now. There's no reaction. And I kind of see this as like the girlfriend that dumped me in high school, and when a girlfriend dumps you, for the first few weeks or month or whatever, you're pining after them and you're thinking, I'll do anything to get them back. I'll do anything to get them back. And it's like that. You want the sugar, do anything to get them back. But then, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months after the fact, you're just like, what was I interested in them for? Why did what was the thing? And that's kind of how I feel about sugar now. It's kind of like, it's this ex-girlfriend that I used to be infatuated with, but now I just don't care.
Far out. Isn't it amazing that sugar has a way of conning you in the moment? Sugar has a way of giving you reasons why you should submit to it. It's going to taste good. It's going to make you happy for the time you're eating it and maybe for a few minutes afterwards. it's always about instant gratification when it comes to sugar. It's never about how is this costing me down the track.
Right. And the thing is, it is always about just that instant gratification, because even 10 minutes afterwards, you feel horrible because you start to feel bloated and you're undoing your top button on your pants or something like that. It's awful.
But it's really funny how people are the ones who are constantly criticizing all you're eating is just meat, but they feel it's perfectly okay to eat a food-like substance and then be curled up in the fetal position for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes and say, that's normal, that's okay. I find that fascinating. I find that fascinating how people do that.
Yeah. You just live a little, just have some. Oh, hang on, I've just finished it. I've just got to run to the bathroom.
Yeah. And then we create this this lifestyle that's normal, that's familiar, that's comfortable. And when it comes to making change, we don't like the idea. We don't like the pain. Here's a keynote to make. The overcoming process is the becoming process. When you are making drastic changes in your life and you're going through dopamine dysregulation because your dopamine receptors are just fried. That's what addiction is, by the way. Downregulated reward center. The brain's not getting the fix of dopamine it's expecting to get, and it's looking for that fix, and that's what's driving the addiction behavior. Most people, when they're going to transform their life and that discomfort kicks in, that's when they throw the towel in. They don't realize that the overcoming process is the becoming process. That is when you are creating from a grander version of you. I have
Yeah.
a client come to see me, and they're saying, "But do I have to do this, and do I have to eat that, and do I have to?" I'm like, hold on a second. You want transformation? You want to transform yourself? You want to transform your health once and for all? Yeah, I do. Are you sure? Why would you be negotiating? Oh, but well, listen, I didn't ask you to come here to transform this body from the current version of you. The current version of you is taking us off the cliff. The current version of you, as it stands, is obsolete. We're not asking you to create from the current you. The current you is not good enough. What we're asking you to do is to rise up and play from a much higher platform, from the 2.0 version of you. What would the grandest version of you do in this situation? That's like back in the day, the 386, the 486 IBMs, back then, those I had mates, the floppy disks, and we used to play like Duke Nukem 3D and all the other games on there. I knew that there were certain games that my friends gave me that I could not put in my IBM 386. I had to upgrade the RAM. I had to upgrade the processor. I had to go because for me to play at that level with that video game, I've got to upgrade. The video game's the same way as life. You need to upgrade yourself. You've got to play from a much grander version of you, not from the current. The current is obsolete. I believe it was Buckminster Fuller once said, you cannot change yourself by fighting the existing reality. To change yourself, create a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Meaning, like, you've changed so much that you can't even recognize the old version of you anymore. You've upgraded your model so much that you can't recognize who you were. And I kind of feel like that with sugar right now. I still think back and say, wow, really? This is the you now? This is you. I never thought that this would be the you. Isn't that interesting, Dave?
Yeah. I still can't get used to my stomach being flat. 2 years in, and it's just like I'm nearly 50, so I lived for basically 48 years with a protruding stomach.
Far out.
And as someone described it to me in one of my interviews the other day, a pregnant chopstick. So I lived as a pregnant chopstick for 48 years. And so for these 2 years, I still cannot believe my stomach's flat.
You bend over and you expect the stomach to get in the way of you trying to tie your shoelaces up for so long. And now you're bending over and it's like, whoa, where's that extra bit gone? It's like, I've got a deeper range of motion now. I can do things. It's almost as if you expect that. I've just had a client had a hip replacement. He's in his mid to late 70s now. He's had a hip replacement. And it's so funny because the brain will associate, habitually gets used to a certain movement pattern. Like you might have a point of contact before you stand up, because he would have 2 points of contact to stand up. And now him not relying on him standing up, holding a desk or holding somewhere, it's very foreign to him. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I've kind of experienced that thing, getting rid of the arthritis, standing up from the sofa is like, hang on, I don't have to balance on anything. And then it's just like you get into the habit of going, okay, well, I'm just going to practice standing up and sitting down to see how long this is going to last, because it feels great.
So I said earlier about experience, and I said that we need to learn from experiences. There is no such thing as bad experience. No experience is bad experience. So what we need to do is we need to be smarter. We need to be wiser. We have to be more alert with the experiences, and then we have to reflect on those experiences. So here's what I did that really helped me, and maybe this is going out for those who are still struggling with carnivore, because we say, hey, carnivore is easy to do, but I know how to do carnivore, but how do you do carnivore? Meat, salt, and water. I know how to do carnivore, Anthony, but how do you do carnivore? There's a difference. How do you do this every day and make that your new normal and identify, and that's my life and moving forward, and I've said goodbye to my old habits of the past that have just destroyed me. I've said goodbye to all that, but I love food so much, and I've got this tug of war between doing what I know I should be doing and what I know I feel like doing. That's the tug of war. The problem with experience is we learn after the experience. That's the problem with experience. There is a cause and an effect. And nutrition does one of two things. It clogs or it cleanses. It doesn't do anything in the middle. If it's not clogging you, it's cleansing you. If it's not cleansing you, it's clogging you. It doesn't do anything in the middle. So it either creates or destroys. So why do we become all-knowing after the experience? Oh, I shouldn't have that. Oh, wasn't even worth it. That cheesecake Why? Why do we have to wait? Why do we have to wait for the experience? Because now it's too late, buddy. The damage is done. The deed's done. It's too late. So we need to learn before the experience takes place. Here's what I did. After I had the experience of, let's say, eating something I shouldn't have eaten, I grabbed my phone out, voice recorded this. Hey, Anthony, this is the future version of yourself talking to you right now about a decision you're contemplating on making. Hey, bud, listen, I've made that decision for you. I am that decision. I'm on the other end of that decision right now. And I'm here to tell you that regardless what story you tell yourself of why you should have it, I'm here to tell you, man, it's not worth it. Oh, I know you're going to be kicking about this and you're thinking this time it's going to be different. No, it's not going to be it's the same. Yes, this is going to taste good. I know that. That's the reason I did it. But I'm the higher self now. I'm the guy on the other side of the decision you're about to make. And I'm here to tell you, don't do it. I just did it for you. I did it for you. I know. I am that guy. I'm the future you ahead of this decision you're about to make. And I'm here to tell you nothing tastes as good as how healthy feels. Nothing, including what you're about to have right now. So take my word for it. Learn from this. I guarantee you, you'll feel better about it. Just listen to me this time around. Dave, I've got that on my phone somewhere. I've kept it. Every single time I come to this T section of whether I should do something, whether I shouldn't do something, I pull out that voice recorder, listen to it, and it really just like nails it. It just convinces me yet again, okay, I'm on the right track. Isn't that cool?
I really like that. I like because it's too easy to make those split-second decisions because sugar and all the chemicals that they put in the food to get you addicted, it's just so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, after a lifetime of being addicted to this stuff, it's so easy to make a mistake. And you feel bad instantly, but yeah, having that recording there, having that little reminder to say, you know, don't do it. You know what this is going to feel like. And it's just gives you that breathing space to go, yeah, this is not a good decision.
Yeah. And you need to make it so, it needs to be so animated. It needs to be so graphic. You may even need to, I don't know, you've got to put some pain associated with it. Okay. You're either going to lose your sight here. If you continue going down this path, you will lose your sight. You attract that which you fear. And I fear losing my sight. I don't know who doesn't. Not anymore, because every day when I wake up, I'm saying yes to my sight. And I'm saying no to instant gratification. Why would we crave the very cause of our self-sabotage? Why would we continue to crave the very thing that's burying us deep? Why would we do that?
Yeah. And every time you do it, your body's sending you signals saying, stop doing this to me. This isn't good. I don't feel well when you do this, but it's so addictive. We're constantly shoveling it down. But yeah, so I really like the idea of making it as graphic as possible. Because that's a really good reminder to go, this is why you're doing this, remember? Because also in the moment, it's so easy to forget.
Mm.
You know, I'll just have one. Just one. One's not going to hurt.
Well, it's the philosophy I spoke about. It's the accumulation of one's not going to hurt that actually does hurt. Doctor says, Mr. Jones, you've got cancer. And Mr. Jones is like, cancer? How did I get cancer right now? No, it's the accumulation of errors in judgment for 30, 40, 50 years that now has transpired into this thing we call cancer. So what you do now matters. What you do in the moment matters. Those who succeed are the ones who wake up and they remember their reasons why they want to do it. When I work with people, I need three things. Number one, they have to have a strong reason why. Make your why cry. When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. Number two, you've got to be teachable. You can't be incredulous. You can't have a cynical attitude. You've got to be open. You've got to be a student again. You've got to have a sense of wonder about you. You've got to bury your old habits. Your new life's going to cost you your old one. So you have to be a student again. And number three, work your butt off. We're not just talking about working your butt off in the gym, in the kitchen. We're talking about working your butt off every day to stand guard at the door of your mind. Stand guard at the door of your mind. It is every day when you wake up, the battle is on, Dave. The battle of love versus fear. The battle of light versus darkness. the battle of good versus evil, the battle of health versus sickness and disease. The battle is on every day. When you get out of your bed and your 2 feet touch the ground, the battle is on. Inside your body, you have a thing called white corpuscles. White blood cells. White is to fight. Red is to nourish. Now, the battle is on. Your body wakes up every day to keep you alive for another day, and it needs artillery. It needs the right firepower so it can win this battle against sickness and disease every single day. Now, one day it may need some form of nutrition. And it's asking you to give it what it needs. And you mistake the signal. And instead of a ribeye, you give it a Hershey bar.
Starbucks donut or something.
Now the body has a right to say, hey, buddy, whose side are you on? Here's me trying to keep you alive and win the battle against sickness and disease. Here's you giving me the wrong kind of stuff. I mean, I asked for an Uzi. You gave me a spud gun. You know, a little cooperation on your part, and we can win this battle of sickness and disease every single day. You like that one?
Yeah, that's awesome. Because that's exactly my life. You know, it's like, oh, I feel hungry. I need to fill a hole, rather than that's my body telling me I need to eat something nutritious.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good point. We need to raise that. We need to raise the idea that the goal with nutrition, the goal with food, is to fulfill a nutritional deficiency or some nourishment. We're not here to fulfill an emotional emptiness or some void we've had. We're not here to use food as a means to escape from our life, from our deeper problems. What are we eating for? I mean, the best place to check this out is at the movies. Man, now, okay, I can't point the finger because I used to be the same guy. All right. The movies. I used to get excited to go to the movies, not because of the movie, Dave. You know why I was excited. I'll tell you what it was. The dirty trio. In fact, there was probably 4 things. Oh, okay. Popcorn, Maltesers, choc tops.
Yeah, I was a bit partial to the choc tops myself.
Are you partial? Yeah. For those that don't know, a choc top are these like ice creams. They got a hard top, and they're just, I mean, yeah. Anyway, it's one of those things you have at the movies. And even I used to get it. I used to have the ice cream. I used to pop it into the popcorn and eat the popcorn like that. A bit of salt, a bit of like sweet and savory. Anyway, but the best place is to go to the movies. You think about it. If there was a camera looking back at the audience, I mean, they're just like this. No one. I mean, this is a physical exchange in energy here. We're doing a transaction here. No one. It's just like mindless eating. Tell me how that's not taking yourself to a happy place. It's not the food. It's not the food. It's the place the food takes you. It's the place that food takes you that we crave. Right?
Yeah, 100%. It's like that. It's so emotional.
Yeah. So what I want people to do, if you're still struggling to get some consistency, if you feel like you're starting and you're stopping and you're starting and you're stopping, you need to first go back to what you really want. You could ask yourself, what do I really want from here? What am I desiring to achieve from here? Number 2, why is this so important to me to achieve this? Okay. Number 3, what consequences do I face if I do not achieve this right now? That's a big one. For you, it was arthritis. It was maybe another stroke.
Diabetes, yeah, another stroke.
Who knows? So, what consequences do you face if you do not actually achieve this right now? Number 4, why would these consequences worry you? Number 5, why aren't you there yet? What's stopped you in the past from achieving this? Because if you do not address every single factor that's prevented you from achieving your goals in the past, no doubt, they will continue to be the reoccurring factors that will prevent you from achieving your goals in the future. So if you say something like, oh, Anthony, if I said to you, listen, why aren't you there yet? Why have you wasted 10 years? You haven't got it yet. Oh, Anthony, I start and I stop. Like, I just can't stay consistent. Okay, write it down. Can't stay consistent. Guess what? You are not allowed to speak about can't stay consistent because we're addressing it right now. If you're attempting this in the future right now, you are never allowed to speak about lack of consistency. We are addressing what stopped you in the past, and now you can't speak about not being consistent. Anything else? I seem to do okay for a few weeks, and then a social event comes up, and then I give up and I start and I fall off the wagon. Okay, cool. Social events, guess what? Every social event you go to right now, you are not allowed to fall off the wagon, because if you do, you're going to be doing the same factors in the past and nothing's going to change. So we're addressing every factor that's prevented you from achieving your goal in the past. Okay?
I think that self-reflection is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really important. Just reflect on what's happened in the past. Because a lot of the time we're so focused on our goal and what we want to do that we don't really think about what's been the roadblocks and what's likely to be a roadblock going forward.
Yes, and you need to be aware of these roadblocks. You need to be aware. And another question I would say, you need to know exactly what price are you going to have to pay to achieve this? Because TANSTAFL, TANSTAFL, stands for there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. It's going to cost you something. You need to determine the price you're going to have to pay and submit to paying that price every single day. That's the price it's going to cost you. If you buy a Bentley, it's going to cost you, man, financially. If you're on this path of transformation with your health and you've been starting and stopping and starting and stopping, it's going to have to cost you something. Like I said earlier, your new life is going to cost you your old one. You need to completely submit entirely to the mercy of change.
Because nothing will change if you don't, right?
Correct. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Okay, we cannot solve our problems using the same mindset that created them, Einstein said again. Now, those are the questions to ask yourself. What do I really want? Why is it important to me? What are the consequences that I face if I don't achieve this? Why do these consequences, why would they worry me? Why aren't I there yet? What stopped me in the past? What price am I going to have to pay to achieve what I want? And will I submit to paying this price in full every single day with interest? Those are the questions. Now, you need structure. The structure is as follows. Number 1, where are you right now? If you have a weight loss goal, jump on the scale. If you have some kind of goal to get in the best shape of your life, whatever it might be, if that's your goal, step 1 is where are you right now? Jump on the scale, take a selfie, do some measurements, whatever. Step 1 is where are we right now? How much damage have we created? Step 1. Step 2, where do I want to be and by what date? We say that because We need a deadline, and it needs to be realistic. It needs to be obtainable, achievable. So deadlines bring a sense of urgency. Dave, if you were my student and I gave you an assignment and there was no due date on it, and you said, "Oh, Mr. Phaésse, there's no due date. When should I hand this in?" And I'm like, "Whenever." Is Dave going to hand it in? The answer is no.
I'm not going to do it.
He's not going to do it. So we need a sense of urgency. So we have to put a deadline in there. Stage 3, how are we going to get there? That's the battle plan. You cannot manage what you do not measure. In working with people at the moment, carnivore, if you have a body composition goal, carnivore may not be enough. We need to know exactly what we're eating. Okay, you can't manage what you don't measure. What are we supposed to do if you plateau? What changes do we make? Eat more, eat less? What do we do? Stage 4, how do we know if we are on track? I think in one of our first episodes, I said clients don't do what's expected. Clients do what's inspected. So if you have a coach, you need to be handing in your photos every week, every fortnight. You need to be making yourself accountable to somebody. How do we know if we're on track? But we need to know, do we make changes? Are we going east? We should be going west. And the 5th and final stage is, what do we do once we get there? Well, 2 things. Number 1, celebrate. And number 2, always set new goals. Always set new goals.
Yeah, is the setting the new goals? Is that's I'm thinking about myself in this question. The setting new goals, is that important to make sure there's not a relapse?
Yes, there's not a relapse, but also to keep us, success is the progressive realization of a worthy encounter. That's the definition of success. It's you realizing you're achieving something. It's not actually achieving it that makes you successful. It's you realizing you're achieving it. Now, we want to set goals because in life, things either do one of 2 things. Things either grow or they die. Nothing's in standstill. So if you're not growing and evolving in life, you're sliding. If you're not growing, you're sliding. The average age, by the way, after retirement is 6 years. After retirement, 6 years is the average age before death. Because people start losing a sense of purpose. What do I do with myself now? There's no more goals, there's no more schedules, there's no more striving for. So you always have to be striving, whether you're taking up a hobby, whether you're doing another language. My mother speaks 8. She's 77, God bless her soul. Take a craft of some kind. I've got one of my clients is retired. Again, the same guy, John. He's got his hip replacement. He said, "Anthony, when you're retired now," he says, you go do something more with your life when going to post something takes up your whole day." He gets geared around getting ready to go and post something, and that makes up his whole day. No, you go do more than that. Take up a hobby, teach, do something, learn a language, travel. But anyway, we set new goals. We always set new goals. There are 3 types of goals that I look for. There are habit goals, there are performance-based goals, and there are physiological-based goals. Now, if I've got somebody who wants to, let's say, because I'm a personal trainer and I work around the arena of body composition, meaning how much muscle to fat ratio clients have got, optimal, adding more muscle, dropping less body fat. And number 1, we get their habit goals right. We might set it 3 to 5 habits per day. It might be get to bed on time. It might be meet a protein goal. It might be meet a step goal. It might be go see your trainer. So habit goals. Number 2, performance-based goals. when you're in the gym, if your goal is to add more muscle, as we spoke about in the hypertrophy podcast together, for those maybe Dave, you might want to do one of these things at the end and say, if you like this interview, you will like this interview, and maybe just post post that hypertrophy one. Okay. As we spoke about that, for you to grow muscle tissue, you've got to perform better than last time. So we have to improve performance. So we have a habit goal, we have a performance-based goal. And now if you get those first two goals, the physiological goal is 100% predictable, in the sense that if I take your waistline measurement and I've given you 2 weeks for it to drop down, and I've given you your steps for the day, and I've given you your protein intake for the day, and I've given you your everything else, and you're doing that and you're beating your personal best, it's going to be predictable that your physiological goal will be achieved as well. That's the three types of goals that I incorporate. First, habit; second, performance; and third, physiological. And the last one always comes when you do the first two.
I'm feeling quite motivated now.
I catch up with a lady called Layla every Sunday. We do Sunday lives with Layla. You can see her on Instagram if you guys are interested. Every Sunday night we do a live, and she always says the same thing after a Sunday night when we do a live. She's like, I know I'll be buzzing after this live, and she just can't go to bed. We finish like about 9:30 at night, and she's just like wired, because we speak about all this sort of stuff every week. So, but yeah, all of this encompasses personal development, and it's one of my favorite areas to teach. It's I love the ability to work with teachable students who are ready. I like working with people who say something like, just tell me what I have to do and I'll do it. You know, I work with the deserving, not the needy. Really important note to make. Work with the deserving, not the needy. I learned that the hard way, man. I used to try and change everyone, Dave. How naive was I? Try to change everybody? No, you can't change them. They have to change themselves, and they have to show a track record of that. Like, life gives you what you deserve, not what you need. Life doesn't give you, you don't get the harvest because you need it. You get it because you deserve it. You've planted the seeds, you've harvested the crops. Ancient scripture says, if you plant the seed, I'll make the tree. You know, if you plant the seed, I'll make the tree.
It's very, very important. We go through life helping people that really they need to learn how to help themselves first, right?
They do, man. And we have to, you got to call people out on that. People will give you the amount of respect that you expect to receive. If I'm a non-negotiable trainer, if I'm on time and you're late, best you're going to hear about it. You know, especially if I give you like 7 burpees for every minute that you're late, you're not going to be late again, are you? But really, it says a lot about you. Your actions say a lot about you as a person. I don't need the words. I just want to watch. I want to see. I want to see what you do. That says everything about you to me.
Yeah, I feel like once you, I don't know, once you have, you get to a certain age, then you start to observe people, and you can kind of go, yeah, I know which people in this group I can trust. If I need someone to hang on to something for me, or I need someone to do something for me, or whatever, I know which people I can trust because they're displaying their diligence almost, you know.
Yeah. Who you are speaks so loud, I can't hear what you say. Like, your actions speak so loud to me that really that they've deafened the very words. Like, watch the feet, not the lips.
So speaking of getting help, if people are interested in getting help with Carnivore or personal training, how can they get in contact with you?
Well, we have a few ways at the moment. So the Lean 7 program is now officially for free to anyone and everyone who wants to access it. I think you posted that about a week ago, and it's gone bonkers into the membership. It's a community. It's a beautiful closed community. You access all the material. Everything you need is in there. And then from there are two schools. There is the Lean 7 free community, and then there's the Lean 7 inner circle. So those who finish the Lean 7, they graduate, and if they want to subscribe to the inner circle, it's $22 a month. And for that, they get access to stuff like this: personal development, mindset. Today I did a meditation. For those that appreciate the voice, there's a couple. Some of the comments were saying last time, like, he's got a radio broadcaster voice. He needs to do something. Well, I've done something. So there's a meditations, there's mindset meditations, there's new workouts, endless anthology. Now I'm putting into new exercises, the correct movement patterns. If you're in the gym and don't know how to lift correctly, take you through the movement patterns. There's also live Q&A every week, whereby you have the opportunity to ask me any question you like, and I answer it for you in full detail. There's also guest speaker interviews. We did an interview with you last week, and it's posted in the inner circle as well. And I'll be doing the best I can to interview other people. So it's a beautiful space. So if you want to access that, Dave, I'll get you to leave a couple of the links below for them to access the URLs, both for the Lean 7 and for the inner circle. And then, yeah, I'd love to have you guys join in and be on this journey together. I'm fully committed to this part of my growth and the people that I work with, and it's my way to reach out a mass audience, because there's only so many people I can help at a micro level. And if I can do the best I can to reach out to everyone, then my job's on then. So yeah.
And could you talk a little bit about the event in November?
Oh yes. So the event, it's going to be on the 20th, I believe it's the 23rd of November in Adelaide, and full credit to my friend Melissa for putting it all together. She's just an incredible human being who I'm still amazed at how she's able to pull things off. Some people just, I'll speak about that in a second, but do you know that the four levels of competency? Do you know what they are? There's unconsciously incompetent. The guy thinks he can sing. He jumps on X Factor. He can't sing at all, but doesn't realize he's unconsciously incompetent. Then there's consciously incompetent. That is, mate, I know I can't sing. I ain't jumping on X Factor. I'm consciously incompetent. Then there's consciously competent. Some people call them arrogant. He knows how bloody good he is. All right. But then there's unconsciously competent. That's where Melissa is. She doesn't know how bloody good she is at what she does. She is so good at organizing, bringing people together, events, just an area. I'm good at teaching. I'm good at the human body. I'm good at motivate, all that stuff. That's what I'm good at. I'm probably consciously competent about that, but I know this. But she doesn't realize how good she is. And so she's putting this thing together with some superstars, including yourself. There's Dr. Anthony Chafee. There's myself. There's you. There is a gentleman called Liam who healed his tinnitus. There's another gentleman called Bradley who I interviewed, who healed his he had eczema. There's also Natalie West. She'll be on there as well. And there'll be Kerry Mann. And it's going to be an incredible event. And I'm looking forward to, apparently I'm speaking there, so I'll be looking forward to being there as well. And we're going to have some exhibitors there. We're gonna have some fun and games. It should be a good day out. So I encourage those. Now, you don't have to be local. We've got people coming from overseas for this thing. I cannot believe people have bought. I mean, you're one of them, but other people have bought tickets just to come for this. That are coming interstate. Most of the ones who have purchased the tickets have come from interstate. So if you're in Adelaide, no excuses. You should be at that event. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to speaking there. So
Yeah, so I'll leave the link for that down below if people want to register for that too.
yes.
But and yeah, I was surprised. Like I've got subscribers that are coming in from New Zealand and all that,
Oh,
So
Bart K. Oh my goodness, Bart K.
oh yeah, and Bart K is going to
Professor Bart K is going to be the sorry, mate. Another baldy. How could I forget him?
Speaking of New Zealanders, yeah,
Yeah, I just thought, oh my God, how can I just forget Bart K? Professor Bart K is coming as well. I'm looking forward to him talking on stage, man. Like it'll be awesome. He can be himself, you know. If you know Bart personally, like he's funny, but he's even funnier. He's the nicest guy, friendliest guy. When you get to know him personally, just a lad's lad, and he just knows his stuff. And as you've seen him on his YouTubes, but for those who know him personally, he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone face to face. It'd be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of the carnivores that are coming from Adelaide are actually in the rural areas. They're coming from the Adelaide Hills. They're coming from the countryside in. There were some hardcore carnivores that are in the countryside coming in. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So yeah, I'll leave those links below. Anthony, thank you so much for coming back on and sharing your knowledge and experience. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. I always appreciate, and I thank you so much for allowing me to come to your platform and to share some insights with people. And no doubt we'll have a few more conversations in the future. So yeah, looking forward to catching up again, man.